are here with a very special video today. I am gonna give my Netflix recommendations quarantine edition. Now I know everybody there at home, they're bored out of their mind. They're usually on Netflix or binge watching some shows or movies. And so I thought maybe I should give you my movies and shows that you should watch on Netflix. I cannot wait to tell y'all my Netflix recommendations. But if you're new to the channel, please watch the video first. And then like, comment, subscribe to the Powell family for more basketball, NBA, all sorts of content every single day. I hope y'all are safe today because y'all are right here watching my video with me right now. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get it popping like pow. First, let's start off with my Netflix movie recommendations. Now, the first movie that I recommend is a movie called Outbreak. Now, this is more related to the coronavirus today and how it all came about. And that's a movie that I suggest if you want to get more informed about COVID-19 because it's a great movie overall. It has Morgan Freeman in it. It has an all-star cast and it's overall a good movie. Of course, The Dark Knight, the best Batman movie. Nothing to explain there. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you're a kid, if you're a teen, if you're a young adult, probably have seen this, and if you haven't, you should go watch it. It still blows my mind to this day that Incredibles 2 is on Netflix. Incredibles 2, it may be a little bit better than Incredibles 1. I'm a huge Tarantino fan, so Kill Bill 1 and 2 are bangers. They're one of my favorite movies of all time. I've been watching them since I was like 10 years old. Pursuit of Happiness is basically the broke version of Will Smith and Jaden Smith. Prove me wrong.
You got me there.
Space Jam is one of my favorite basketball movies of all time. Even though Michael Jordan is not that big of an actor or even a good actor at all.
Stop it.
He still kind of carried his own through that movie. Avengers Infinity War, I'm a huge Marvel fan, so that movie to me is one of the greatest Marvel films of all time. If you haven't seen it yet, you're kind of slow, buddy. Again, I'm a huge Tarantino fan, so Inglourious Basterds is one of the best movies, best made movies of all time. Has an all-star cast. Brad Pitt did his thing in that movie. Austin Powers is one of the most hilarious movies of all time. All three of them, Man of Mystery, International Spy, Goldmember, like all of those movies are one of my favorite movies of all time. And Michael Myers is a pretty funny guy. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
If you haven't seen Snowpiercer is an underrated movie. It's personally one of my favorite. Snowpiercer stars Chris Evans, who played Captain America, and he's doing Captain America type stuff in this movie. It's basically a post-apocalyptic movie about people on the train having to survive, and there's classes and levels in this train. Then the people in the back are trying to figure out how come these folks are privileged to have this stuff, and so they move their way up in the train, and it's just gory. It's kind of violent in some parts, and it's overall a great movie. Probably one of the best made movies of all time. Freedom Writers is a great movie. It stars Hilary Swank. She's basically a teacher that teaches in this urban school, and she tries her hardest to, develop a relationship with these students, but she has to balance her life at home as she balances her relationship at school with the students. It's overall heartwarming story based on a true story too, so it's a very good movie. Steve Jobs is one of my top inspirational people, probably one of the best people that have ever walked on this planet. And this movie alone, it was a great movie. It just gave a behind the scenes look on what he was doing, how his mind was working. And it's overall a great movie. It's way better than that Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, man. I can't take my eye off of that movie. It's basically like 1 hour and a half or 45-minute video game that you're watching. I feel so immersed in there. It's a lot of colors. It's comedic. Plus you have Michael Cera doing his thing. Michael Cera is a GOAT. He's a legend. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, if you heard Lil Uzi songs, he references this movie a lot. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I just love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I could watch it like 100 times over. Realm of the World, I feel like this movie was not talked about when it was first out. Like, me and my sister watched it last year when it first came out. And this honestly gives me like Stranger Things vibes. It's about kids going to a camp and the end of the world is going on and there's aliens and stuff like that. It's a very good movie. You should check it out if you haven't watched it. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Kind of slept on this movie. I was thinking it was a chick flick at first, but this movie goes hard. Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise fan, and every movie he does just about does a very great job. Jerry Maguire, it's a great movie. Okay, I know for all of you people that do not love foreign films or don't even like reading subtitles, like I hear people all the time there be like,
oh, I don't want to read subtitles. I'm too lazy to read subtitles.
well, this movie you're gonna have to read a lot of subtitles. A Train to Busan is a great movie. It details the story about a father who's not really that good of a father, and it's his daughter's birthday, so they have to travel to see her mom. So they head on the train, and a zombie outbreak is loose, and somebody gets infected on the train, and so they have to fight off all these zombies. It's just a cool freaking movie. Like, I think it's one of the most underrated foreign films that has ever existed. Inception, not much to talk about there. Christopher Nolan did his thing in that. Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, one of the best actors of all time. Inception, mind-boggling. It still blows my mind. I still can't figure out the movie. Working a good burger, I want a good burger, man. I'll take your order, please. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes.
Don't you ever say that again to me.
Bringing back so much nostalgia of Kenan and Kel. I love Good Burger. Karate Kid. Now, people may hate on this Karate Kid. I've heard a lot of people hate on the Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan Karate Kid. I love the first one, but I think I have a closer attachment to this one because I saw early screenings of it, and it was just fantastic. Jaden Smith, despite what y'all might say about him, acting wise, he did his thing in that. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I am a huge Spider-Man fan, as you can see by the chain right here. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. This is a revolutionary Spider-Man and transcended just because it's built like a comic book. You're watching a movie, it's like reading the comics of Miles. It's just an amazing film to watch. Like, you could watch it over and over and over again. The platform is one of the newest releases on Netflix as of lately, and I suggest if you're gonna eat something while watching this, I would stay cautious of that. I would suggest not eating anything while watching this movie at all, because this movie, it has a lot of parts where it's like, it made me sick to my stomach. I was eating breakfast while watching this. Never again. Basically, the premise of this movie is that people are locked in like cells, but the jail cells are like vertical. They have a routine every day where food gets sent to them, but the food is on the platform, hence the title of the movie, and they have to eat from that. It just gets crazy. The concept is very crazy, but it's a great movie, a great movie. I suggest watching that, but on an empty stomach. Last but not least, that's rounding up the Netflix movies, is another new release is The Social Network. Jesse Eisenberg did his thing as Mark Zuckerberg. This is one of the best movies of all time. And plus, it has Brenda Song in it, James Garfield in it. Like, it has an all-star cast. It's just a great movie to watch. Now let's take a look at my Netflix shows recommendations. First and foremost, of course, the most obvious pick is The Office. Now, I wasn't on The Office bandwagon for a while. Like, I heard many of my friends, I heard many people talk about The Office. I've seen clips of The Office, and I was kind of confused. I was like, how is this show good? Like, I've seen funny clips of it, and I was like, oh, this seems funny, but I never got around to it until like maybe a year and a half ago, maybe a couple years ago. I was very late to the train of The Office. One of the most talked about shows right now is All American. And the thing about All American is, me and my sister watched this show when it first came out on Netflix. It first came out on Netflix like a year ago. And I believe nobody was watching this show. And we were like one of the first people to watch this. Now, of course, I don't have proof of that. I can't really show you, oh, we're the first people to watch it. But nobody was talking about this show, and it kind of pisses me off because everybody is now like,
oh, it's one of the best shows on Netflix.
Y'all late to the party. I've been watching this since a year ago when nobody was talking about this. I suggest watching this show. It's about a football player balancing his life while living in Crenshaw. He'll play football in Beverly Hills for a better life for himself, but he has to deal with, his old neighborhood and the challenges of a new neighborhood and new school. And so it's just a great show overall. It's only 2 seasons on Netflix, but they have a 3rd season on CW. On the CW app, it is free. So if you want to see the latest episodes on All American, get the CW app. It's free. You can watch season 3 all the way through, and I cannot wait for season 4 to come out. On my block, one of the most talked about shows again on Netflix. Season 2 pissed me off. Then the end of season 3 pissed me off. Great season, by the way, but pissed me off. Next show is a reality show called Love is Blind. Now, many people have said this is stupid. Many people have said this is a great show. It's really no in between. You either love it or hate it. Love is Blind, it may seem like a stupid concept at first. I'm not gonna lie. At the premise of it, I'm like, whoa, this is kind of ridiculous. It's basically these people, they have to blind date people. They are looking for husbands and wives, but they have to blind date people. They have to date people who have seen them. They have to pick their wives and husbands without actually physically touching them or seeing them. They just... Of course, Stranger Things, I cannot wait for season 4? The Circle. Now, The Circle is a very great reality TV show. Now, it's these people living in their small apartments and they have to interact with other groups of people, but it's some catfish on there. It's some people that are acting as catfish on there, but you have to determine who's real and who's not. And whoever survives all of that gets money at the end of the show. Very great show. It's a very great message within that show about social media and about catfishing and about accepting people for who they are. And it was very touching at moments in that show. It just made me realize that we take face-to-face interactions for granted. We should really start loving each other for who we are as opposed to trying to be somebody else. Greenhouse Academy is honestly an underrated show. I don't hear that many people talking about Greenhouse Academy. For what reason? I do not know why, but it's basically centered around high school students. I always love shows and movies that are centered around kids and high schoolers and stuff like that, because I feel like kids rule the world. The youth, we're the youth, baby. We rule the world. I am not okay with this. Now, when I first saw the show, it gave me Stranger Things vibes, and it's actually from the producers and writers of Stranger Things. Even though each episode was like 5 minutes long and like the whole season was like 30 minutes, it felt that way. But this is based off a comic book, I believe, and I'm not okay with this. It's basically about this girl that has supernatural powers. It's just overall a great show. Again, if you love Stranger Things, you would definitely love this show. Atypical is probably the most underrated show on Netflix. It's about this teenage boy with autism, where we take a look at his journey and his life in high school and as he eventually goes to college. If you haven't heard of or seen Atypical, I suggest you watch that right now. Daybreak, I'm so pissed that they canceled that after season 1. Another show that centers around kids and high schoolers. It's a post-apocalyptic show about a virus that wiped out pretty much every adult. I just love the show. I just love it, but I hate that they canceled it after 1 season. The Society, man, the Society. I cannot wait for season 2. Season 2 is supposed to come out sometime during this year. I don't know when. Again, another show that centers around high schoolers and kids. It's basically they're in this world where there's no adults whatsoever. They don't know how the adults wiped away or whatever, but they have to basically live with each other. They have to basically form their own society. I cannot wait to see season 2. Now, Victorious, we all know about Victorious, man. It's one of the best Nickelodeon shows of all time. Black Mirror, of course, is one of the best shows of all time. The modern day Twilight Zone. If you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you watch it. 13 Reasons Why. Of course, I'm not going to give you 13 reasons why you should watch it, but if you haven't watched this yet or heard of it yet, sleeping under a rock. The World's Most Extraordinary Homes. Now, I am a guy that loves architecture, homes. I suggest for all my home lovers out there, you watch this show because they have very modern day cool homes, and I just love looking at future houses of mine, future mansions of mine that I'm going to live in. I'm going to show y'all. Next house tour coming soon. 100 Humans is a new release TV show, and it's a pretty fun show. They basically test theories about humans, and they tested on 100 humans, and has a lot of facts in there, scientific facts about the human body, the human brain, and what we do, what we tend to do, how we move or how we live in society and stuff like that. It's a very great show. Now, I'm glad they put my show on here. Community. Now, Community for me was like The Office for me before I even discovered The Office. Community has an all-star cast. They even have a young Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, on the show. So I love Community, man. I watched that way before I watched The Office. Community is a funny show. It's like a show like The Office or 30 Rock, and it's honestly one of the best shows I've ever seen. Last but not least, we have my favorite Netflix documentaries, docuseries, documentary, TV shows, or whatever. Now, this first one, y'all, this is one of the most talked about shows, documentaries on the internet right now. And that is Tiger King, man. Tiger King would throw you through a loop and throw you back through the loop and then throw the loop away and throw you through the air into a pool and then throw you down a building. It takes you through a lot of loops, man. And it's very crazy. It's centered around 3 people who owns lions and tigers zoos, and main character in this, Joey Exotic, he is very exotic. Yo, it's a lot of shady stuff going on in this show. Main conclusion I got out of this show is that never trust somebody who owns a tiger or a lion. It's a murder mystery thingy. Like, one woman, they suggested that she fed her freaking husband to the tigers, and this man is going to jail for trying to put a hit out on a woman, and then this other lion tiger owner owns a cove full of women. Like, it's ridiculous. But I could not take my eyes off of it. I finished the whole documentary series in 2 days. It's very, very crazy, but worth watching. Cue Ball it's about a prison basketball team. And it is very great because I love basketball, of course. Because these prisoners, they could really hoop. You hear stories about how they got in jail and their journey through prison and how they're trying to make it out. And like one dude, he's trying to make the NBA or is trying to make the NBA G League or whatever, man. If you're a basketball fan, I suggest watching this documentary as soon as possible. Since we can't go to any musical festivals right now, I suggest watching the Fire Festival. Now, that was the talk of the town when it first came out on Netflix, I think about last year. The Travis Scott documentary. Travis Scott is one of my biggest inspirations as of this generation, and it's really a great story about Travis Scott. If you haven't seen it, I suggest watching it. Just the fact that he performed like in front of 5 people to like millions in the crowd, it is very inspiring. Inside Bill's Brain, decoding Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates is one of my biggest inspirations, and so personally for me, I love to see geniuses at work. And so Bill Gates is mainly focused around how Microsoft came to be, but also his philanthropist endeavors and how he's trying to provide clean water for countries with dirty water. And it's just a great overall docu-series. I suggest watching if you love Bill Gates. Last but not least, we have Kevin Hart, Don't F This Up. He tells his story about his life. We see his life and how his rise to stardom, his everyday life, and it really details his stuff that's been going on with him. And it's a very inspiring story for anyone who wants to be successful in life. So I suggest watching that docuseries. Now, that's going to be it for my Netflix recommendations. What Netflix shows or movies or documentaries that I missed? Let me know what's your favorite Netflix recommendations. Put them down in the comment section down below. It's your boy, RJ Powell. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the Powell family for more basketball NBA videos coming your way every single day. Hopefully, y'all staying safe during quarantine, practicing social distancing, y'all. It's your boy, RJ Powell. Stay safe out there and go watch you some Netflix if you're bored. Give me that Kobe song, baby.
Okay, how we doing